All right, what's going on, everybody? It's currently Saturday, January 4th. It's about 5:30 a.m. Just getting up to get the day started. I've been getting a lot of Facebook messages on the Speed Ranch page and my personal page talking about how did I go from sim racing to real life dirt track racing. How did I make the leap forward? It's not really a straightforward answer. It's not a copy and paste. Everybody just do this step. This is the only way to do it. There's tons of ways to do it. You look at Hayden Cardwell, for example. He won the 2020 World of Outlaw Pro Series on iRacing, and since then his racing career has just been upward from there. He won lots of crown jewel races, or at least a handful that I know of. In the crate division down south, he's gotten a CVR crate car house ride, which is, top-notch equipment. He was been the BMF house car. You got Kendall Tucker, who has recently been making moves forward in his crate racing career. And then we have myself, who has went from a similar path, iRacing Dirt, into USRA, USMTS Modifieds, and we're just going to talk about how I did it and how it helps out, how it correlates, and everything that you can learn from it. Obviously, iRacing isn't our only source of income. We have businesses outside of racing. We have jobs outside of racing. Me as a 21-year-old, I don't go to college. I don't own a house. I actually live in a buddy's basement. You watch the Pro Series races where they have our cameras, or they interview us, or they have us on podcasts. You can see I'm in a basement, and that's just what I gotta do. That's the sacrifices I gotta make. I don't go out, I don't party, I don't do nothing like that. I just work, I race, work on my race car. I do the only three things that I need to do to build myself up and put myself in a position where I can do this for a living. And obviously you can see I don't have a massive shop. I have a little garage, and that's all I need. I have buddies who let me use their tools when I need them. Sheet metal brake. Obviously, I don't have room for that. My shock room, my super secret shock room, is in a storm shelter. So you don't really need, at least starting out where I'm at. All of my money is into this race car. It's a 2024 GRT A mod. I don't need a big shock dyno right now. I don't need none of that because I'm not. I'm obviously not racing with Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. I'm not on the road 24/7. I have time to where I'm able to, if I need to, I can call Matthew Logan and he'll get my shocks and shit ready for me. So I'm not in a position right now where I need that. I'm just pretty much weekly racing, trying to compete with big people. So this right now is very doable, and it's working out really great for me. So I know a big question is it similar? And everybody's going to give a different answer on that. Everyone's going to have a different opinion. What I found is that yes and no. You're using some sort of wheel, you're using some sort of pedal, you're learning some sort of idea of throttle control, you're building up your awareness, you're learning how to pay attention more. You're believe it or not, you're going to learn how to restart properly. You're going to learn how to get comfortable tucking underneath somebody and learning how to time a start. There's a lot of small things that it does help with, but then there's a lot of big things that it doesn't. You're in your comfy room, you're in your seat, AC, whatever. You got your headset on, maybe a VR headset. In real life, you have your helmet, fire suit, seat, containment seat. You're all strapped in there. You're getting pelted by rocks and dirt, so it's different unless you're gonna have somebody throw mud at you while you're in your office chair. But it definitely does correlate, and it definitely does help. So I got into it about when I was 17, 18, back in 2020 when COVID happened, which is about when most people got into it. iRacing was getting a ton of coverage at that time because, they were having NASCAR races. They were having the NASCAR drivers run on it on NBC, on TV, because they weren't able, with the COVID restrictions, they weren't able to be out and racing. So it got a lot of coverage, and that gave us a good foundation to build off of. with Pro Series not being as big as it was at that time, drivers like myself and a handful of others had to find a way to use our knowledge to profit off of it. You know, we were doing it as a full-time job, if not a side hustle, to make extra profit, extra money, to be able to afford to race, or to be able to afford to just get into a race car. So after COVID, whenever the money races and Pro Series started to slow down, the drivers who put in a ton of time, built up a bunch of knowledge, we had to find a different way to profit off of that. If we wanted to continue making money off of iRacing, to be able to put forth to our racing programs, to be able to afford to buy a race car, we had to find different ways to use all that knowledge that we'd built up. And so we all started to do these setup shops. iRacing setup shops is what we called them. What we did was we would build setups and sell them to the community. There was many different brands, but there was only about 3 or 4 that really stood out. We had CFM Esports with Blake Majulis and Evan C. building them, and Chris Ferguson. We had House of Speed iRacing setups with Dylan Hauser building them. We have EPI. We have Speed Ranch with myself building them. And I had countless people that were supporting my brand. They knew what I was doing it for. They knew I was doing it to build up my racing career. They knew I was doing it to be able to afford to race, to be able to afford to buy a race car. So, you know, I'm extremely grateful for that and thankful for everybody who helped me out. I met a ton of great people, a ton of great sponsors who stick with me to this day off the sim. I met Matthew Logan at ML Performance, who from day one has tried to help me build up my knowledge, has supported me into my racing program. And without him, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have into real world racing. I wouldn't have my foot into real world racing if it wasn't for him. Rusty Schlenk at Domination Race Cars. I was their esports house car driver for quite a long time. So, you know, like I've met a lot of great people just off of the sim. Caden Honeycutt, him and I have worked very, very strongly and very closely together. You know, and he's taught me a lot of stuff about real world racing as well. It's crazy that a simulator could put you in that position, you know. Getting into it, you think it's just a video game, it's for fun, and it is until you get to that level, until you get to the level, as with anything, that you're putting in just countless hours grinding at it to get better. And it really has put me in a position where I'm able to race full-time now. I'm able to race this 2025 season. I'll be full-time racing for the first time. You know, the last 2 years I was able to get into a car, but I could only afford to race maybe 5 times a year, give or take. And in those times, I've had good days, I've had bad days. I've had days where I wrecked my shit, and I've had days where I've went quick time and I've been able to show up and do really well for myself. But you know, that's gonna come with it. That's gonna come with the learning curve of it. And yeah, we're super excited for it. Obviously, late models are the end game goal for me. But you know, in the area that I'm in, Midwest Kansas area, USRA modifiers are pretty much, you know, the cream of the crop. That's what everybody's running. That's the big thing down here. So I figured I'd get one, and you know, I'm using this to learn. I'm racing with really great people, really big names, so I can, you know, I'm gonna get my ass kicked every weekend until I start figuring stuff out. But that's just part of it, you know. If I want to be who I want to be, then that's what I gotta do. I gotta get my shit kicked in, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to bring in some wins this year. I do plan on recording more videos throughout the year, you know, in cars and stuff during race season. So I'm a little attention whore. I really enjoy just sitting here talking to a camera. Yeah, we're really excited for it, and thank you guys for watching.